why can't you both live in peace and harmony as brothers, instead of you lording it over them and kicking them out? He says, Dad, you see, we had this country. We possessed it under David and Solomon. So, they are entitled to it. So I said, how did you get it, sir? You see, you came out of Egypt, 12 tribes, united people. Under Joshua, united people. And you go into a village, that village chieftain, they call them kings. A little fellow with 500 people or 200 people living there in the village is a little king. Like the Bantus they have, Nkosi, everywhere, a little Nkosi. So they had these Palestinians, they also had the little chiefs. So they went and knocked over one king, conquered him. You are tribes, united tribes, 12 tribes against one little fellow there. And in one day they killed 30 kings. Can you imagine? They conquered 30 different countries. Can you imagine? No, what they did was one village, another village, they knocked hells into them. They didn't know that they were a nation. This guy is thinking his village is his country. He's not thinking that, look, those guys are coming along, let us unite and defend ourselves. No, this is mine, he lost it. That guy thinks this is mine and he lost it. And they lost 30 countries in one day. 30 kings, they killed the Jews. They killed 30 Jews. So I said, look, you knocked hells into the people because the people, they didn't know that they were a people. They didn't know that they were a nation. There's only one little chieftain and another little chieftain, you knocked them over and you took the land by force. I said, if that entitles you to that country, because your forefathers, David and Solomon, had it, then we would be entitled to Spain. I said, my forefathers ruled Spain for 800 years. 800 years the Muslims, and we have there, go today and see the monuments that my forefathers built. They're still there. If we had the power, can we go and reclaim Spain? He said, look, who built the Alhambra? You built it? My forefathers built it. So we go and claim it. I said, the Dutch, can they go back to Indonesia? I said, look, our forefathers ruled it for 300 years. The Portuguese, can they come back to Mozambique? They said, look, our forefathers ruled it for 500 years. Nonsense. But he says, Dad, we have it. It belongs to us. We got it now. I said, right, how did you get it? Might is right. Is that your principle? That by force of arms you took it away from the poor Arabs? If that entitles you to Palestine, then they have a right to take it back by force. Why are you complaining? If by force, if you are entitled, if justifies you taking away, possessing somebody else's property, then by force of arms they can reclaim it. What are you crying about? And the discussion went on for an hour. And this boss of mine, with the other Jews, they had sins. There's good-hearted people among them, Allah says. So he says, Dad, we didn't know that the Arabs had a case. This is his confession. We didn't know. In other words, they programmed from childhood into believing that this is ours, emotionally, this is ours. So anybody wants to defend his property, says, no, you have no right, you are barbarians, you are thieves and brigands, you have stolen our land, so we have a right to repossess it. He says, Dad, I want you to write this, and I will publish this in my Temple David magazine. It's a new synagogue of the Reformed Jews in Durban. He was the editor of this Temple David magazine. He said, look, you write what you are telling. You write, and I will publish it for you. I said, Mr. Beer, I can't write. And really, the writing is very difficult for me. Talking is very easy. I like to talk. But writing, what a burden it is, I know. So he said, no, Dad, you write as you speak, and I will improve it for you. I know he meant well, but we never came to that. What do you think happened the next day, from there on, in the firm? You expect me to be fired, no? No. From the day onwards, I have become Mr. Dad. Previously, it's Dad. Now it says Mr. He comes in the morning, says, good morning, Mr. Dad. He goes for lunch, says, good afternoon, Mr. Dad. Good evening, Mr. Dad. Dad becomes Mr. Dad. Promotion. So in the firm, the other Jewish managers, the boss comes and tells them, say, this guy here, dispatch clerk. Dispatch clerk is a lowly job in a white firm. Say, this guy here, man, he made rings around us. See? So he must have shared it with the other Jewish managers in the firm. So the guy knows something, you see. So while walking through one of the departments, clothing department, and the manager of the clothing department, Mr. Baynard, another Jew, he calls me. I was wearing my white dust coat, furniture trade. He says, come here, do that. I said, yes, sir. He says, you made rings around Mr. Beer, I hear. But you can't do that to me. He says, as for Ishmael was a bastard. Look, this is how the brainwash program. As for Ishmael was a bastard, he says. An Arab would have put a knife through him. But we couldn't afford to do that. So I said, Mr. Baynard, look, why don't you come home? We'll sit down and we'll talk. Bring your wife along and your friends will have meals together. I said, you can't do to me what you did to Mr. Beer. I said, who's talking about doing anything? You come home. Not interested. And every time I get an opportunity, Mr. Baynard, I said, my wife, I told her, and she is looking forward to receiving you and your wife. Come home. Every time I said, look, Mr. Baynard, come. We are waiting for you. So he was persuaded. He comes. Mr. and Mrs. Baynard, Mr. and Mrs. Peel, and Mr. Townsend, who was a backroom boy for the Full Gospel Church. 3 Christians and 2 Jews. They come along. Same treatment, feed them well, take them to the masjid, bring them back. I said, now we have teas and samosas. So they're having teas and samosas. So I said, maybe now the guy softened. The tea and samosa and our meals, they're very good. It might have done the job. So I'm thinking. So I said, Mr. Baynard, you remember you told me in the shop that Ishmael was a bastard. He said, of course. I said, you still stand for that? He said, of course. I thought the samosas had done the job, but it hadn't. So I said, all right, Mr. Baynard, tell me now. According to the religion of your religion, Judaism, which is better for a man to marry his own sister and beget child by her, or marry a bondwoman, a slave woman, a negress, and beget child by such a woman? He said, no, the negress is preferable. According to the religion of Judaism, instead of having your own sister as a wife, you rather have a slave woman, a negress, a bondwoman, because that is what they insinuate, that Hajara, who was actually a princess of Egypt. But this rubbish, they say that she was a slave woman. I said, all right, even a slave woman. Which is better as a wife, your sister or a slave woman, according to your religion? He said, no, the slave woman is preferable. Very good. I said, you see, according to the laws of eugenics, inbreeding, which is better for you to have your own sister as a wife, or you have a slave woman, a bondwoman, a negress? He said, no, the negress is preferable. I said, according to your common sense, which is preferable, your own sister or this negress? He said, no, the negress is preferable. This is very good. No, the answers are right, correct. I said, you see, Mr. Baynard, when Abraham and Sarah, husband and wife, when they went to Egypt, he says, and Abimelech, I'm quoting from Genesis chapter 20, verse 12. You can check it up. And Abimelech, the king of Gerar, sent and took Sarah. See, he goes there, and this Sarah was a beautiful Jewess, Hebrew woman, beautiful thing. So this king, he's enamored, he wants her. And there is what is called the prerogative of kings. In the olden days, you see, the king has a right to take anybody's wife or mother or daughter, anything he wants. I want that woman. You can't say no, otherwise it can kill you. So he's asking Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, according to the Bible, say, this beautiful woman, what is she to you? So Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, according to the Bible, he spoke a lie. He said, she's my sister. So she's your sister, well, send her in to the haram. So he had to send her in. And things went wrong that night, and the fellow couldn't come right with Sarah. We don't know what happened. But next morning, he's frustrated, and he's calling Ibrahim, Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, and asking him, say, look, man, because of this woman, I had a sleepless night. Tell me, what is your connection with her? So he said, she's my wife. He said, why did you lie to me? Why didn't you tell me? I wouldn't have done a thing like that. And Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam says, according to Genesis chapter 20, verse 12, And yet, indeed, means without doubt. She is my sister. She is the daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother. It's different mother, but it's the father's seed. And she became my wife. So she is Abraham's sister, seed coming from the same father. And you say, according to Judaism, according to eugenics, according to common sense, that the negress was preferable. And you say Ishmael is a bastard because he's a child of Hagar, through Hagar, a slave woman. So I said, if Ishmael is a bastard, then Isaac is a greater bastard according to your standards. Look, you have a right to speak like that. We dare not speak about the prophets of God. Hazrat Ismail alayhi salam, he was a prophet of God. Hazrat Ishaq alayhi salam was a prophet of God. But now you're arguing with the sick mentality. You got to get rid of the sickness. You got to give it to him with a sledgehammer. When it needs a sledgehammer, nothing else will work. If you say my man, my hero is what you say, then yours is worse. Any standard. Now, you know, when you show this, the Quran, the way it speaks about the Bani Israel, it's amazing. You see, in 1967, soon after the Six-Day War, I was around one of these tours of mine, lecturing. And the Jewish society here, students of the university, they saw some of our adverts, like you might have seen in the Argus. They stopped it. They said, one advert, no more. Some Christians, you know, they went and complained. So they said, no, we are paying for it through our noses. But said, no, they won't have another advert of ours. We couldn't have given to the Herald because we knew they wouldn't put it in. So we have to advertise by word of mouth, what we are doing now. So please go and tell your friends and bring your Christian friends and your Muslim friends. Bring them along to tomorrow night in the city hall. Crucifixion or crucifixion. So they saw some of our adverts in the newspapers and they phoned the organizers then. He says, look man, this Mr. Deedat of yours, won't he come and speak to us in our clubhouse in Rondebosch? They had purchased a church. The Jewish boys had purchased a church and made it into a club. We would like him to come and speak to us. Actually, at the back of the mind, it was soon after the Six-Day War. They wanted to see how the Muslim cringed before them. You say, well, you know, you gave knocked hells into us. And cry and bewail, oh, so we'll fix you up in the future, we'll do this and we'll do that. They wanted to enjoy, get sadistic pleasure, you see, in working upon us. They want to know whether Mr. Deedat will come and speak. Oh, they asked me, I said, yes. This is my privilege. I can't say no. There's a sickness I have. And according to the appointment, we go there, and the chairman introduces me to the audience, Mr. Deedat, you know, the great man from Durban of the Islamic Propagation Center, and so on, so on, so on, so. And now there's only one little chieftain and another little chieftain, you knocked them over and you took the land by force. I say, if that entitles you to that country, because your forefathers, David and Solomon, had it, then we would be entitled to Spain. I says, you know, my forefathers ruled Spain for 800 years. 800 years, the Muslims, and we have them go today and see the monuments that my forefathers built. They're still there. If we had the power, can we go and reclaim Spain? He said, look, who built the Alhambra? You built it? My forefathers built it. So we go and claim it. I said, the Dutch, can they go back to Indonesia? I said, look, our forefathers ruled it for 300 years. The Portuguese, can they come back to Mozambique? They said, look, our forefathers ruled it for 500 years. Nonsense. But it says, Deedat, we have it. It belongs to us. You know, we got it now. I said, right, how did you get it? Might is right. Is that your principle? That by force of arms you took it away from the poor Arabs into a village. That village chieftain, you know, they call them kings. You know, a little fellow with 500 people or 200 people living there in the village is a little king. Like the Bantus they have, you know, Nkosi, everywhere, little Nkosi. So they had these Palestinians, they also had the little chiefs. So they went and knocked over one king, conquered him. You are tribes, united tribes, 12 tribes against one little fellow there, and in one day they killed 30 kings. Can you imagine? They conquered 30 different countries. Can you imagine? No, what they did was one village, another village, they knocked hells into them. They didn't know that they were a nation. This guy is thinking his village is his country. He's not thinking that, look, those guys are coming along, let us unite and defend ourselves. No, 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 this is mine, he lost it. That guy thinks this is mine, and he lost it. And they lost 30 countries in one day. 30 kings, they killed the Jews. They killed 30. So I said, look, you knocked hells into the people, because the people, they didn't know that they were a people. They didn't know that they were a nation. Why can't you both live in peace and harmony as brothers, instead of you lording it over them and kicking them out? He says, Dad, you see, we had this country. You know, we possessed it under David and Solomon. So, they are entitled to it. So I said, how did you get it, sir? You see, you came out of Egypt, 12 tribes, united people. Under Joshua, united people. And you go